Welcome to Pinball Mayhem. My name is Jeremy, and today I'm going to give you a good reason why you should save those old leaf switches if you work on EM pinballs at all. Or even if you don't. It's a good idea to save the old ones, and here's why. Okay, what we got here is my Bally Seesaw project. I'll be doing some videos about this later on, probably when I'm much closer to getting done with it. But as you can see right now, I'm just kind of pulling all the switches from the bottom, going through all the switches and everything on the underside in preparation to strip the top side. And what I've got going on here is somebody changed out the one of these switches here. These are sling switches, and these switches carry the full current of the coil that sits here. So they're rather large contacts, and somebody put these on, which is fine. There's nothing really wrong with them. They're kind of Gottlieb replacements, whatnot. But I wanted something a little different on there, so since this game uses as a switch in the back here, a couple switches that work off the rubbers in back there, I decided to grab one of those instead, and I'll make a new switch for back there. So here's what the switch is supposed to look like, and these are my replacement parts that I'm using. These are actually off of Williams, but they're heavy enough, and they're the right style, and that's what I wanted for back there. Let's see if we can get a little focus on it here. And so, about the topic of this video, why do you want to save your old switches? Like you got a solid state or newer pinball machine and you change out a slingshot switch or whatnot? Well, here's the reason why you want to do it. Because I don't believe I can buy this exact switch. I can probably buy something that'll be close and something that'll work. But I want the exact switch. So, over the years, I've been saving switches, and so you end up with a lot of little bits. And if you separate them nice, you can basically build any switch you need as long as you got the blades. So here's just some spare switches that I pulled off some relays that I picked up. You can build stand-up targets and whatnot. If you're curious, there's actually two types of switches. This one's got a narrow space here and a much shorter blade than the standard one here. But back to what I was talking about. So I found the blades. They didn't have the bracket I needed, or didn't sit correctly on there, so I pulled out all the individual parts, and we'll just assemble the switch here. Alrighty, we'll just assemble this guy here. Goes together just like a little puzzle. And on the front and the back of the switch is a special piece that kind of locks everything together. It's got the notches in there. And then all we do is add the bracket. I'll need a metal piece for there, but the metal piece goes in, and the bracket's on, and then it's all done, ready for soldering. Okay, so for me to figure out how that went together, I just looked at one of the old switches. But that's handy to figure out spacing between the blades and whatnot, and figure out what the manufacturer had intentioned for that setup. So I just tried to recreate it as close as I could. Want to make sure you got enough wafers in there so the blades are tight, but the spacing's got to be pretty close, otherwise you don't want to be cracking any spacers when you tighten down the screws here. Here's what this metal piece looks like that goes on there. I've got a few spares. I hope you enjoyed that brief look into leaf switches. I know it's very exciting. I'm sure everybody will be clamoring for more videos on leaf switches. But all kidding aside, it's definitely a good idea to be a hoarder some of the times and save some of those old switches, because you never know when they're going to come in handy. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.